cheesy motel room.
We'll take it. Hey there, what do you say there, world? Welcome back to the Racers Recap. We are stoked. We know it's Game of Thrones Sunday, but it's also Racers Recap Sunday. So, somebody's not muted?
Who is it?
Is that me? Hold on. If you got a live stream going on in your background?
I got nothing. No noise.
No noise? Oh, I don't know.
Here, let me switch to like actual headphones and let's see if that works.
What's happening? I don't even know.
There's feedback because somebody's got YouTube on probably in the background. Or maybe it's headphones.
Is it me?
Maybe.
That fits it.
I don't know. Whatever. I guess we'll get through it. Well, no, I think
that fits it.
There's like a delay. Ah! We're off to a good start.
We haven't done this in a while. The race has been off here for quite some time. I'm checking. All of my stuff's off.
I'm shutting off all my sound.
All our viewers, thank you.
So rusty.
Thank you for dealing with us.
This is my second time, I guess, here. I was going to say it's my first time.
Oh, yeah. All right. So can everybody check their, me, Jen, James Earl?
I got nothing on.
Check to see if you got YouTube on.
I looked everywhere. I'm off everywhere.
Yeah.
There's like a partial delay and it's killing me. You too? All right. Don't know what it is. I'll do my best. This is going to be interesting. Well, anyway, we're here for season 31 cast assessment. Are you guys hearing twice, or is it just me?
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear
Although
anything.
Jen's a little frozen in my little thing.
Okay, so it's just me hearing it twice. That's fine.
Is Jen moving with you right now?
I got it. Let's do it up. All right. It's just me. So I will push my way through it because that's what professionals do.
Hey, Justin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear Jen. We're good to go. We're just going to push right through this. Anyway, it's season 31. It is an idea that a lot of people have been pushing to get Amazing Racers versus Survivors versus Big Brothers. And the only smart way that I think they should do this is to get they should do this on the Amazing Race. They should also have 3 tribes on Survivor and then follow the same theme. And they should also follow the same theme on Big Brother this year. All 3 shows should have been connected and had all 3. There we go. What do you think about that? Synergy.
I mean, it would have been really cool. I think it would have been tough to pull off because if we're being honest, I don't know if Survivor needs us as much as we need Survivor.
Well, if they need our Emmys.
It's fair. It's also fair.
Well, no. Obviously, Amazing Race has the least amount of viewership and social media interaction because it's the oldest audience that watches this. But that's cool. So anyway, I'm super excited to be back. James Earl, what's new in your life?
I'm just still a resident. I don't. Since y'all last saw me, I finished like one of my residencies, and I decided I'm going to go back for second. So I'm doing a second residency in emergency medicine. So I'm about 20-ish months from finishing completely.
20-ish months.
Jesus, you got like 16 years of schooling.
And it keeps going, never ends.
Never ends. That's why doctors get paid the big bucks, though, eventually, I guess, at some point.
Eventually. Not quite there yet.
Jen, you got your Balance Pursuits podcast going on. You're doing ESPN X Games. What else is going on with you?
Well, I quit my day job. So next week's my last week at my day job, and I can do all the other things that I've been doing more wholeheartedly.
Full time.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Wow, that's great. Well, congratulations. And
Thanks.
if those of you who are in the chat room right now, we know the routine. It's a little thumbs up, a little like, a little share. And while you're at it, you can go subscribe to the Balanced Pursuits podcast on whatever podcasting platform that you use. You can also subscribe to Races Recap while you're there, because we do podcast these as well as YouTube videos. Let's check in the chat room before we really kick this off. Yeah, Corey decided not to join us this season, not because he couldn't, but because he really didn't feel like speaking for the whole cast all season long. And I don't blame him because, I get it.
I have a feeling we'll see him around this season.
Oh,
he'll probably pop in a couple times.
He's definitely going to be in at least once, most likely twice, and probably going to bring Tyler with him. Obviously, this season is going to follow the same format. I'll try to interview a different team or person from a team every week so we can get everybody's views on it. And if any of you are watching, I'm not paying attention to the chat room. Diana is at a family event right now. She's normally queen of the chat room. So if you guys want to
real quick, can I tell Jen how excited I was when I found out like you were replacing Corey? Like I was a little brokenhearted when Corey was going and I had no idea who was replacing it. And then when I found out it was you, I was so freaking excited.
Well, I'm so freaking excited too. So I'm glad. I will miss Corey's presence, but we'll get him on.
Yeah, and it's more balanced this season. It'll be more balanced now instead of 3 guys and a girl. And with our new baby Charlie, it's a little tough for Diana to be here full time. We'll see how it goes, but she'll definitely be part of the team. And I am super excited that you said yes. You were the first call that I made after I found out Corey wasn't going to be here live. So I am super excited, and thank you so much for joining us this season.
You're welcome.
Team Extreme.
Team Extreme.
All right. So I'm going to check the chat room and then we'll just get right into it. So the format we're going to do is we'll kind of go through each team. And what I need you is either top 3, bottom 3, or middle of the pack. Middle of the pack.
I want to preface this by saying I absolutely hate this episode. It's necessary. I understand why it's necessary, but I hate it personally because Mom and I were like on everyone's weakest team. Like everyone was like, oh, first out. So it sucks. So if I'm wrong, I'm glad I'm wrong. So sorry for any of the teams I have to call out.
Same.
Yeah.
I totally agree because we're basically just having to make a lot of assumptions and stereotypes, which does not feel great, but we got to do it.
But this is the most talked about episodes usually is because people debate about, what our strengths and what our weaknesses. And obviously some people have raced before, so we could tell what their strengths and weaknesses are. And other people were on different shows, and it's a tough episode to do. But again, take it with a grain of salt, because if I just went back and read some of the reviews on what people thought about me and Diana after the first episode, and
Don't do that. Why did you do that?
I was just doing some research, and I was like, wow, we were in, people had no faith in us. And even in
That was rough.
In the cast assessments, there wasn't too much faith in us because people they're going to suffer from the superfan curse and be out in like the first or second. So listen, most people who do these don't know what they're talking about, even though we're pretty good. We've done really well with our cast assessments in the little time we've been doing it. All right. We'll get a couple things out of the way before we get started. For those of you asking, Diana and I did get a phone call. I think it was a year tomorrow was the 15th. We got the call to come back for this season of The Amazing Race. We were so excited. We had to send our passports. We got to do everything. 2 days later, we found out Diana was pregnant, and I tried to tell Diana, I was like, we can still do it. Don't worry. You're very young in your pregnancy. And she was like, you are out of your mind.
Oh, that's a hard call.
Yeah. But there was
Right,
we wouldn't have made it through medical. So that's fine. But we did get asked. So it was bittersweet but it did stink to have to call them back and be like, "Hey, thanks, but no thanks."
Well,
remember-
that's because they're priming you for like the real all-stars.
Yeah, that's what I like to think, right? Like,
Exactly.
Well-
Keep the dream alive.
And I know that you just came off knee surgery, so otherwise, I don't know if you got the call, but they would have definitely given you guys a call. But you were very well publicized that you just had knee
Yeah.
surgery.
I had knee surgery, I think, like 2 weeks before they started that whole casting process, and but no one from our season was contacted either. So I'm also using that as a reason to keep the dream alive. But yeah, knee's good now, so it was for sure ended up working out.
And if you want to hear the whole story behind it, you could check out my friends at Reality TV Warriors. They interviewed Diana and I, and we went really into depth about that. They're very good friends of us, Michael, Logan, and Michelle. They also run the Amazing Race fans Facebook page in the chat room. So go check them out, Reality TV Warriors. Definitely a different type of podcast than most of the Amazing Race recaps. They got their own little style. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. We're going to go through the 11 teams that were picked for this season. I do know 8 other teams that were contacted that quote unquote didn't make the cut. I'm not sure if I can talk about them or if they want me to talk about
I
them.
probably shouldn't talk about that because I know a lot of those too, and like some of them are heartbroken because of like reasons like y'all where they couldn't like physically do it because of life stuff. So we don't need to open those wounds.
Okay, so we won't do that. But a lot of the teams that you think were contacted, and a couple surprise teams that I didn't think would get contacted. Actually, a couple teams that made the race, I didn't even think would actually get the calls. So let's go through them. All right, let's start with the Amazing Racers, since obviously we all know a little bit about these teams. We're going to start with Tyler and Corey. Tyler and Corey. Where do you think Tyler and Corey fit along this lines? I mean, they pretty much dominated their season statistic-wise. Like I think it was like 2.4 something was their average finishes.
2.42.
Look at you.
Ooh, look at you with the math.
I have all the stats.
I love it.
Yes, I love that. So right off the bat, Jen, where do you put them?
Top 3. That's like kind of a no question for me. I think a few things to consider, like modern Amazing Race is a little different, and they raced recently, so I think they're kind of like attuned to that. And they were super strong in their season, so I expect to see a similar performance out of them this time around.
She pretty much took the words out of my mouth there. Like everything that I was going to say about them, they said. When I'm looking at a team, I look at, do I want to race against them? And I want to hang out with Tyler and Corey because they're awesome. I do not want to race against them.
They were definitely a team that I expected to be a lock to be on any kind of all-star or recall season. They are obviously have a huge following, but besides that, they were great racers. They were fun to watch. Definitely top 3. If they don't finish top 3, I'd be extremely disappointed. It's a lot
Well, then
of
they got U-turned, right? So if they don't finish top 3, they got U-turned.
Right.
Yeah. Right, but you got to beat them to the U-turn board, right? You got to beat them there.
Or just make lots of friends along the way.
That's what I like. That was my plan.
But I also think that as good as they were, if you look at Tyler now, as Tyler,
he's ripped.
He's probably in the best shape of anybody on this season, even Victor, who's like a fitness coach. Like, he's shredded. So I expect them to do extremely well. They're definitely a top 3. All right, let's go to Leo and Jamal, the Afghanimals. 3rd season. Do we really need them? They were entertaining.
They're fun to watch.
They are fun.
They are real fun to watch.
They are
Not
fun
for,
to watch.
like, dislike or anything, but 3rd time is a little crazy.
A little crazy. So where do you think Leo and Jamal fit, James Earl?
So from what we've seen in the past, they've had 3-peaters before, and the 3-peaters never have fared well. I don't know if it's because they're kind of tired or they just got older with age. I never know what it is, but the three-peaters have never done well. So I kind of had them as a middle of the pack when I was looking at them.
Well, Jen?
I gave them high middle because, I mean, honestly, I like the Amazing Race teams. I'm kind of just assuming that they're gonna mostly all make it pretty far.
Yes.
It's like such an insane advantage to have returning racers against non-racers. So I don't think they're going to make it to the final three, but I do have them finishing like high middle because, well, they've finished high middle. They finished fourth in both their previous seasons. So I'm expecting similar. But you also, I mean, you never know. Like sometimes I could imagine the three-peaters probably want to come back like really hard and then race too hard right off the bat and get themselves into some trouble. So I agree with you on that, James Earl.
So the way I look at it is, three-peaters or returnees, they have an advantage for probably the first three legs. After that, I think it kind of, once people settle in and kind of get the gist of the race, I think it takes a special type of team to still have the advantage. But you're right. I mean, running it 3 times, I mean, you may fall into this relaxed type of thing, and I think that's what happens to a lot of the three-peaters. Like they feel like we've done this so much that they don't have that same like energy that they had the first 2 seasons. And I definitely had them middle of the pack as well. They're fun to watch. Some people can find them annoying. A couple times I find them being a little fake just to kind of play it up, but I mean that's all part of the show. And when I met them in person, they were honestly some of the coolest dudes that you'd want to hang out with. So have the middle of the pack as well.
The one thing that I disagree with you on, though, Justin, is I don't think the first 3 legs gives people advantage coming back, because what you don't know, I feel like when you come into the race, you don't understand how tired and how physically worn down your body gets around like 6. So I think going into that, knowing like, hey, we need to like reserve some steam or reserve some gas because shit gets real hard real quick. Like people don't understand that.
That's true. That's true. And I think that's one thing that maybe survivors could have a little bit of an edge because they're used to doing challenges when they're not at their best.
Yeah, but that is such a different game. Like it's so slow, like, because they're kind of always playing game and then you get into a challenge and it's like intense. But the challenges in Survivor are really kind of, unless you win immunity, they're like not really a part of the game in the same way that it is a part of the game in Amazing Race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I still think home field advantage with any of these, the Amazing Race, Survivor, Big Brother, home field advantage is huge.
What would be cool if they do this, fingers crossed, would be if they took challenges from Survivor and some of the challenges you had to do on the race were Survivor challenges.
Oh, that would be really cool.
And then it's like, you know, they bring it back, or Big Brother challenges, right? So like they bring back stuff from these people's seasons.
Yeah.
And then they have a leg up because it's a challenge they've done before to balance it out. But who knows if they're that smart.
That would be awesome. I would actually really appreciate that. Although Survivor's challenges have gotten too cookie cutter. All right, we're going to do an obstacle course and a puzzle. Obstacle course and a puzzle. Obstacle course and a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it. Everybody
give me a puzzle any day of the week.
Don't give me no puzzles. We suck at that puzzles.
I take a puzzle.
Everybody that's hanging out in the chat room, if you got Twitter, tweet it out that Races Recap is back. Use the hashtag. If we don't get to your questions here, use the hashtag Races Recap. I follow that on my little tweet deck, so I'll answer anything that has the hashtag Races Recap. FYI. All right, let's get to a team that people are super excited about, and one that I didn't see coming. I could have went through 50 teams and not thought that this would be one that they would call back. Colin and Christy from Amazing Race Season 5, old schoolers. My ox is broken. What do you think about Colin and Christy, Jen?
Okay, well, first of all, people seem to really love Colin and Christy. I had not seen their season, so I actually went back to watch it because I'm like, what is this all about? Christy only did 1 roadblock the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It was early days of Amazing Race, so there was a lot of like travel and logistical stuff at play that does not exist in modern day race. So like, I think they are still competitive. I think that they're much older, which I think can be an advantage. It's also a male-female team, which is historically an advantage. So I have them like high middle, but I don't know if they'll have what it takes to go all the way. So we shall see.
All right, James Earl, Colin and Christy.
So this is one that I had actually trouble placing where that is, because I think it's such a mystery bag for what Jen said, is because they last competed, it was 2005, is that what you said? It was like
Season 5, yeah.
Yeah, season 5. So
a long time ago. And pretty much if you looked at every other competitor, they've at least been on a show of their season recently. So even when you get to the Big Brothers that, did Brother a long time ago, they competed again recently. So I think they're a mystery team. I agree with Jen. I think the make or break with this team is to see how they adapt what they remember to current times. And Christy is going to have to kind of prove herself with roadblocks. And I'm not doubting that she can. I think it's just a very different game. So I'm excited to see how she handles those.
Wow.
Right.
Tom Catwick said he thinks they'll be bottom 3. I think you're way off with this. I have Colin and Christy in my top 3. I think that if you go and you look at how their lives have changed since then, like they were both like CEOs or bigwigs in that CGI company, the company that makes the Phantom drones. So they're like in the head of technology. They're on the cutting edge of that type of stuff. They're both in extremely good shape. I think one of them's a yoga teacher.
They're an attractive couple too, like super fit, attractive.
They look as good now, if not better now, than they did.
See, I think they look better now. I think they are like
that's
super attractive.
They look like so hot now.
Yeah.
I have them in the top 3. I mean, having the Amazing Race background, having the years that have passed for them to mature and grow. And I think Colin's attitude was one of the detriments of his team. He was really, really intense to like almost a mean degree. That one thing that did bother me was the fact that he did pretty much every roadblock. So,
but I can't fault them for that because it was just a different time in the race. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like, if Mom and I were on the race back in season 5, I would have done 9 roadblocks. Mom would have done 1. It's just how it was back then.
Yeah. So sure. I think they're going to do really, really well. I have them into my top 3. So that's where we start to disagree with the 3 of us. The first disagreements. I think maybe we'll disagree with this one too. Team Fun, another team that I didn't see coming back only because I had heard that one of them had something bad going on behind the scenes, but obviously that's not true. So Team Fun is back, and because I believed what I heard, I had a different taste, but now I am so happy that they're back. They're one of the most fun teams. Obviously, the Team Fun, one of the most fun teams to watch. Always very positive. They were put together, and they seem to mesh very well. A male-female team. Just recently, season 29. Where do you got Team Fun, James Earl?
I think as long as they don't get wrapped up in the team funness, which I love. I'm not faulting that. I love it. I think they're going to make it very far. I don't necessarily think top 3 because I just think this season has some very, very strong competitors, but I think they're going to make it very far.
Okay. Jen?
I put them in top 3, which might slightly be because of wishful thinking and how much I love them. But I also feel that they were kind of like hitting their stride and then unfortunately had a bad call on that roadblock, and had Becca done it, it would have been like a completely different outcome. No offense, Floyd. I love you, Floyd. But, that was not Floyd's strength. He has many other strengths. And they just love the freaking race so much. And I love watching them race. I love the team funness. And you don't need to be the most intense and competitive team all the time to make it to the end. Sad. But yeah, I love Beck and Floyd. So I think that they're going to be top 3. And yeah, the end.
All right. It's top 3. James, you had top 5 for them, right?
I think they're going to do about how they did their first season, which I'm going to put them in the top 5 range at least. It's there or higher.
Okay. I have them as middle of the pack. So I'm not one that likes a lot of mainstream stuff. I wasn't into Friends. I wasn't into like Big Bang Theory or any of these like mainstream comedy things. So I didn't get them as much as everybody else got them as like Team Fun. They seemed kind of fakey to me.
Oh no, that was 100% real.
Oh my
That
gosh,
was
now
100% real.
yes, and meeting them in person, I mean, they're such characters. They are just exactly as they seem. And while yes, it is like a little over the top and out there, but they are just a little over the top and out there. But they live in the same town. Like they've actually been able to spend time together,
Seriously?
and get yes. And they
I didn't know
randomly
that.
magically connected on the Amazing Race. So they've actually been able to like train, and Becca can like teach Floyd how to ride a bike, and
That's a little shade. That's a little shade there.
oh no, they know
I'm
us
good.
all.
I'm
We're
glad to hear
hard.
that. I'm glad to hear that. And like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't get them. It just seemed fake to me. But if that's who they are, that's who they are. And I'm happy that that's who they are, because that is just such a great way to live, with such joy and like enthusiasm. It's not something that I have all of the time, but I do have it in bursts. Another team that I did not expect to come back, even though they had an extremely good average during their season, Art and JJ from Amazing Race season 20. Art and JJ. What do you think about Art and JJ, Jen?
That one also surprised me, but as far as like teams coming back that have great average finishes, I totally get it. 2.25, so still not as good as Justin and Diana, but pretty good. And I remember watching them, and I actually liked them on the race. I know they had a lot of haters out there, but I just thought they were competitive, which obviously I'm okay with competitive people. So I have them finishing. I want to give them top 3 too, but I don't know who else do I have left here. Yeah, we're gonna give them top 3 just because they came close to taking it home and got so hosed trying to freaking sled down on a whatever that sled was.
They got hosed hard.
That was rough. That was rough. So, yeah.
All right. So Art and JJ, I have the middle of the pack. I almost had them in the bottom 3, but there's a couple other teams that I think are just going to be terrible. And they were an Amazing Race team, and they did really, really well. I don't have a great feeling about them, but I do have them in middle of the pack. They're a guy team, but I think they're not the best guy team. I don't know. I don't think they're as balanced as you need to be to win the race. But
I actually think you're probably right.
I'm worried about them. Can I just say that I'm worried about them as like from the racing standpoint, because I feel like they did so well their first season. They're going to come into this a little cocky, and there's always that one team that you expect like, oh, they really did really good their first season. They come back and they just bomb. Like Natalie and Nadia, they killed it their first season, came back, bombed hard. If any team's going to do it, I think it's going to be Art and JJ, and that makes me nervous.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you guys are probably right, actually.
All right, let's start. That's all the Amazing Race teams. Super surprised that a couple Amazing Race teams that got called didn't get picked, and some of these teams got picked over them. So.
Oh, also, I would like to make a complaint. I'm filing an official complaint, which is there's no female Amazing Race team in the Amazing Race teams, which is just kind of like, why?
Yeah,
why not?
There
were some good ones on the list.
There were some great ones on the list.
And this one's out there, so I can already talk about like Kim and Allie. I 100 expected to see them back. Like I expected to see them back 100%. They got the call. They didn't make the cut for some reason, but it's like, I expected to see them back, and I would have put them probably top 3 if they were on this season.
Maybe they're just saving them all. They're saving all the good female teams for next returners, right?
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
All right, let's go to Team Survivor. We're going to go with one of the most popular survivors in the history of Survivor. He was on season 7, season 8, season 20, season 27. 4-time survivor, Rupert, and his wife, Laura. What do you think about Rupert and Laura, Jen?
I think I will be highly entertained, firstly, and will love watching them on the race, particularly Rupert. But I do not think they're going to do well. I have them bottom 3. Yeah, I think it's too fast paced. And I think that once they're actually on the ground racing, they're going to enter like frenzy state that they won't be able to stay on track.
Ooh, James Arrow.
100% agree. Like, if they're not in the first 3 out, I will be shocked. Only because, like Jen said, you get into such blinders. And let's be honest, the last time they were on, was Blood versus Water. They made some very poor decisions very quickly, and like one of those on the race, you're out.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're done. You just can't have that.
Right.
No, I agree that I get why they got them on the show. Like Rupert is reality TV legend. Right. I mean, he is one of the most entertaining people that have ever been on reality TV. I just worry for him in a game that is not social, because The Amazing Race has very little social game to it. And now that we're going into the Survivor and the Big Brothers, those are very social heavy games. There are a lot of competition aspects to it, but I feel like on The Amazing Race, the competition's first and the social is kind of a secondary, where it can either really screw you, but it doesn't really help you.
Yeah, I'm looking in the chat room, and there's not one person who disagrees with you guys. I definitely see them as one of the first 3 out, if not the first team out of the. I'm glad that they're on this show, because Rupert's going to bring a lot of eyes to the show. I mean, he's on Survivor 4 times. 4 times. Jesus. And you just look at him, people know who he is. And whether it's the tie-dye shirt or the castaway look that he has, like Tom Hanks, that's Rupert, man. As good as he was on Survivor, I don't see his skills transferring over. And from my season, you could see a good social game doesn't mean anything, because I didn't have any good social game at all. Everybody hated me after first leg, so it was over. All right, speaking of being hated, let's get to the team who loves to be villains. Corinne Kaplan and Eliza. They're both on Survivor twice. Corinne was on season 17, season 26. Eliza, season 9 and team 16. This is an interesting pairing here that they smashed together. Jen, since it's a girl-girl team, we'll let you go first.
Thanks. And they have our colors. Well, and James Earl's color.
And all the pink. All the pink.
Okay, well, firstly, I will say that I think they're by far the strongest female team on this season. They're very smart. I worry a little bit about them being able to just not implode a little bit, just allow the intensity to be too much and make mistakes. But I think that they're gonna do well, but I have them finishing middle of the pack. Like I said, I have all top, my top 5 is basically Amazing Race. Art and JJ, I think you guys are right. I don't know why I put them in the top 3, but I'm going to stay with it because why not? But yeah, I think that they're the most competitive female team. I think they'll do pretty well, but it's going to be just a learning curve for them, because it's not the social aspect of this game doesn't come in the same way. You're not manipulating humans. You still have to navigate around foreign countries. But is it Eliza or Corinne? One of them I feel has language skills that might come in handy.
Right.
I'm blanking.
I don't remember, to be honest. I see them as bottom 3.
Really?
Yeah. I just think that I see them almost like TMZ was on our season. They're gonna be there to throw shade. They're gonna try to embrace the villain role.
Really?
I just don't see them lasting too long, and I'm surprised that Corinne got an invite. She talks so much junk about CBS, about Survivor, she just talks, but maybe that's why she got. But I don't know.
They'll be entertaining.
Oh yeah, this is the first time I think Jen and I really disagreed on something today. I don't see them as the strongest female team. I actually see them as the weakest.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think of the 3 female teams mainly because I think Rachel has a big advantage that we're forgetting in the fact that she has done 24 legs of the race so far. So I think that really helps them out. And then for Brittany and, oh my God, I'm awful because I can't remember Brittany's partner. Janelle, thank you. How did I forget Janelle? Good God. Brittany and Janelle, I think they just are strong competitors that have really done the circuit so far. And for Corinne and Eliza, it's been a second since they've been in something like this.
Yeah, and I don't watch Big Brother. I've never seen a single episode. So I don't know I don't know the game that well and like what it takes to be on it. So, and I'm not as familiar with Brittany and Janelle. So I think that's where like I have my stereotype in my brain about what that means. And I, in my head, think that like Survivor would probably be more of a help in the race, but I appreciate your opinions and think they could be very valid.
So in the chat room, Harmstone said Liza speaks Mandarin, which is the
God.
hardest country to communicate in is those Asian countries.
I would say, if they make it to China, they're going to be in first place, 100%.
Yeah. So that could be a huge advantage because that was the downfall for both me, for our team, and for Tiffany and Krista had a tough time in communicating as well. So yeah, I have them bottom three. I'll get to Diana's picks. I have them all here. We'll get to those at the end when we do our grand summary. Let's go to a team that I've had a tough time placing. Chris and Brett, who were on season 32. Season 33. They were both on season 33 together of Survivor. Relatively recent. Chris and Brett. What do you think about them, James Earl?
I actually loved watching them on Millennials versus Gen X. Like, that was a really good season in the first place, but those were some good characters on that season. This is one of the other two teams that I couldn't place. Goes with like Colin and Christy, where they have potential to do really good and they have potential to bust really hard. So I didn't know exactly where to place them. I hope to be surprised, although male teams in general usually struggle because I feel like both of their strengths are kind of the same strengths and they don't have any anything to balance that out. Because the race is all about balance, especially with the roadblocks and with the detours. Because if you can just get one person that can plow through the detour well, it's about balance, and I just don't see that from their team. I hope to be surprised.
Jen, what do you think about Chris and Brett?
I pretty much agree with James Earl on that. I have them bottom three. And I enjoyed watching them on their seasons of Survivor as well, and really particularly like Brett. I just think there's not enough fire. Like there's like, I don't know. We'll plot to see. But yeah, I also hope to be proven wrong because I'd like to see them stick around, but I have them bottom three, and I don't know if I actually have any other reasons to add to why.
Yeah, I have them bottom three for lack of balance. Nothing really stood out for me challenge-wise while watching their season, strength-wise while watching their season. I don't know why these two were teamed up and put on the race. There's a million other people that were more entertaining and better racers.
Do they know each other, like, outside of having, I mean, they know each other well now, but, like, did they have a...
I don't think they had that weird connection. If I remember correctly, Brett had a connection with, what's his name? It started with a Z. I thought that was the real connection on Millennials versus Gen X. Yeah. I don't remember them having that strong connection there.
Yeah, I think this is something that producers put together. Right. I think this is something producers put together. And maybe obviously, from bonding with people from your season that being on a reality show together, especially the same season, you create these bonds. And
for sure.
So obviously they were on the same season, so they got a nice little bond going. And Ponderosa, when you're sitting in Ponderosa together, obviously they were there, so maybe they really got together there.
Yeah.
All right, here is a team that I expect to see a lot of fun from. Rachel and her sister, is it Alyssa?
The queen.
Rachel was on pretty much every reality show on television. Fear Factor, Big Brother, 12 and 13, Amazing Race 20 and 24, where I think that she got carried by her partner. So I do not have them doing well at all, even though I have them in the middle of the pack, but just strictly off Amazing Race. Amazing, just being on the Amazing Race and finishing, and they've never been. Rachel's never been eliminated. She's made it to the finish line twice. So, but I think that had a lot to do with her partner, and I don't think this is a step up partner wise. I think it's a step down, and I have them in the middle of the pack. What do you think, Jen?
I agree. I have them low middle. I think that, in all fairness, you're right. Rachel has run 24 legs of Amazing Race, but I also feel like Brandon did carry her a little bit, but maybe I'm underestimating her and how well she knows the game and how much that will come in advantage. But yeah, I have them finishing low middle. I think that having a totally different race partner would be also really confusing, because when you talk about like balance, and some of the advantages of racing again is that you know that dynamic with your teammate, and you know, like Christy and I know exactly what roles we would do now that we've raced. Like we tried to answer some of those questions ahead of time and we didn't really know. So they are a new team, even though Rachel has personally raced a lot before. So yeah, low middle of the pack.
Low middle. James
See, I think this is one of the teams that's going to surprise us how far they go. I feel like Rachel has the unfair. She has like the Brooke edit where she had so much emotion that no one could get past that. Because I went back and watched 20 and 24 recently. She's not a bad racer, but she's also one of these where like you can't get past like the theatrics and the emotion and the drama that you're like, oh my God, please stop.
Right.
Which is like what happened with Brooke, and Brooke was actually a pretty damn good racer when you like broke it down. So I do agree with you though that like having a different racer is going to kind of reset them because you have to find those roles again. But I don't think that's a team to sleep on.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. Let's go to another Big Brother team. Season 16, season 18, Nicole, and season 18 of Big Brother, and the challenge, season 31, Mr. Victor, challenge beast on his season. What do you think of Victor and Nicole, James Earl?
I have this team as a top 3 team. If any racing team that is going to win, if any non-racing team, sorry, I couldn't get that out, is going to win this, it's going to be Nicole and Victor. I think those two are ones that are scary competitors. They've done a lot of stuff. They're both physically fit. I feel like their team brings a lot of balance, which I know we talked about. I would be scared of racing against these two.
Ooh, Jen.
I have them high middle of the pack. I'm going with an all Amazing Race podium. No bias, but I agree that I think they're super competitive team from what I've understood and heard about them. And also, I mean, so age and fitness is like, fitness matters and age can be advantageous and disadvantageous. I think it's advantageous if in relation to fitness, but there is a certain level of like worldliness and awareness that age brings that I think, well, can bring that maybe they don't have as much of. But in reading about them more and on their like bios and stuff, I mean, Nicole works as a nurse and Victor's a freight broker and like deals with like logistics and stuff. And so I actually think like those things could come in handy for them on the race. So I'm giving them high middle. I think they're going to do better than any of the other non-race teams.
100% agree on that last part.
Yeah.
That is your top non-racing team.
Yes, and I actually have them in the top 3, sneaking past some of the Amazing Race teams. Victor is just a challenge beast. I don't think there's anything that the race is going to throw at him he's going to have a tough time with, except getting from point A to point B. That might be a problem. Although he does speak a couple languages, which could help him. Nicole, she was very interesting to watch. That was one of the seasons that I actually watched. I only watched a couple seasons of Big Brother because I started meeting them and I had to watch some of the seasons so I could know about them. Victor, I got to hang out with him at a charity event. We slept in the same house. He's a really cool dude, in amazing shape. I think the only thing that'll be a downfall to them is if Nicole gets the wrong roadblock. But other than that, I think they're one of the most balanced teams on the race, and I have them in the top 3. All right. I scrolled. All right. I'm not going to get to scroll. Thanks. All right. So we'll go from, is that the, no, it's not the last
Janelle
one.
and Brittany.
Janelle and Brittany, girl team. Janelle, legend of Big Brother. Nobody could ever take anything away from her. Don't know Brittany as much, but I think they're both referred to as queens by people. So Janelle challenged Beast during her reign, Big Brother. She won. First impressions for me, I have them finishing bottom three. I don't think the balance is there. I think they're going to be. It's a huge shock, a huge difference between being on Big Brother and being on The Amazing Race, lounging around the house all day or being up and going. I have them bottom three. Don't see them being around too long. James Earl, you are a Big Brother fan. What do you think about these two?
Yeah, I have them as the middle of the pack. I don't necessarily have them as a bottom three. I have them as the middle of the pack. I do think they have a lot to prove because of how much history they have on Big Brother. I don't necessarily have them at the end, but maybe I'll be surprised.
Yeah, Janelle's been on 3 times, season 6, season 7, season 14, and Brittany was on season 12 and season 14. So there is a tie between, I think, Brittany and Rachel, so maybe there'll be some drama there. Jen, what do you think about these two?
First of all, that is so much of your life, because how long did they stay in the house?
Well, Janelle made final 3 like twice. So she was there for hundreds of days.
Insane. Okay. Like, props to her for that, because I would absolutely not be able to survive in that house. However, I agree with Justin on this one. I think they're going to be bottom 3. Just sorry, I don't see it. I don't really know either of them, and maybe I will learn something new. But yeah.
All right, so I think that's going to be all the teams. So let's go through our top 3. I don't know, do you have them separated, James Earl, as I go and get down on this pick?
Am I allowed to have changed my opinion?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so we're not like locking in yet.
No.
Okay. All right.
My top 3 I have is Tyler and Corey, which I have a big feeling they're going to make it to the end and win. Nicole and Victor, and then I also had. I'm going to go with Becca and Floyd.
Ooh, Becca and Floyd. Jen, I'll give you a second since you're redoing yours. Diana has she cheated and gave me a top 4. She gave me Tyler and Corey, Team Fun, Victor and Nicole, and she threw in Leo and Jamal as well. She also gave me a bottom 3, which is a Rupert, Corinne and Eliza, and Brittany. She has the same bottom 3 as me. So that's without even talking to her. We both have the same bottom 3. All right. Top 3 for me is Tyler and Corey. I expect them to win. I expect Colin and Christy to be second, and I expect Victor and Nicole to finish in third. That's my top 3.
God, that would suck to get second twice.
That really would be painful. Okay. Top 3, Tyler and Corey, Becca and Floyd. Oh, I thought I knew. Okay. No, we'll go with Colin and Christy. I'm going to go with Colin and Christy.
Switching it up.
I'm switching it up because actually I like the Art and JJ thing I thought about more, and I think that you guys are probably right. Okay, and then bottom 3 for me would be Chris and Brett, Rupert and Laura, and Janelle and Brittany.
I don't think I told you my bottom 3. My bottom 3 were Rupert and Laura.
Sorry.
No. Corinne and Eliza, and then who was my third? Oh, Art and JJ.
Ooh, Art and JJ. That's
wow.
bold. So
throwing them out with the bathwater.
Yeah. So we all have Tyler and Corey in the top 3. We all have Rupert and his wife, and Corinne and Eliza in the bottom.
I don't have Corinne and Eliza in the bottom.
So Rupert
we all have Rupert and Laura.
Yeah, if they're not first out, I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah. I mean, they have the cards stacked against them for sure.
Yes. So that's pretty much our cast assessment for this season. Any kind of twists or things that you're expecting from this season that we may want to throw out there? I like your twist of having some actual survivor challenges along the race. I don't see it happening, but I like it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see it happening either. And it would really throw off my rankings because that, in my mind, is why the Amazing Race teams would have so much of an advantage. The other thing, I guess, that would be on my mind is the head-to-heads, which I'm sure will be back after testing them out on our season. I was not a fan of the way like of the location of them in the
Yeah,
race.
I
I didn't
hated
necessarily hate the actual head-to-head component of it,
Yeah.
but like it should not
It should be
negate
the
your
final thing.
entire lead. Right. It should start that way, or like be in the middle, so you at least have some time that you could like make up ground.
100% agree with you. Like it needs to be where you have like either one thing afterwards, or like you have to travel and find the pit stop, or like have something. A number ones was not an auto elimination. Because like, how much does that suck? B number two, where you don't just like get screwed by time, where like you're waiting for these people to finish these challenges that you finished an hour ago, and you're like, this is what people also don't realize, and this is kind of what screwed Mom and I, is the time that you lose when you're getting to the pit stop, like that still carries over. You don't get like a hard reset. So that like our driver cost us an hour and led 9, which rolled over to led 10.
Right.
So our loss of 6 minutes, I'm not bitter about that still.
It's fine.
I'm bitter.
Things we replay.
I'm bitter that you guys. I want to. So, but I definitely agree. I loved the head-to-heads in the Canadian seasons. I just didn't think the American season pulled it off in the proper way. I think it was just silly to have it, and you could see the finish line. It's just silly. It would just made things so much different. I think if anything, they should be in the beginning of the leg, not the end of the leg. And definitely don't be non-eliminations when you're doing the head-to-head. Make it worth something. But I love it. I expect to see head-to-heads back. As
I
far
hope
as
they don't do partner swap ever again.
No, that was awful. I still hate that they ruined the top 3 thing for y'all. Like I hate it. Like y'all would have been the like only team ever, and it ruined it for me.
Yeah, I didn't like the partner swap. Don't think that's something that they should bring back at all. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I like that they try new things. It's cool to try new stuff. Don't like the partner swap.
So speaking of trying new stuff, in other seasons, like other, not seasons here, but other variations of it, there's actually voting for like penalties and yields and U-turns. Justin, I know you don't want that introduced into the game.
But for this season, it makes sense because then it brings some skills from Survivor and skills from Big Brother that they can use against the Amazing Racers, because Amazing Race ain't used to it, but them two are. So that would be a great twist for the season.
Yeah.
And there's precedent for it.
So I would really, actually, I would embrace that for this season. For our season,
So, yeah, Justin, you better pray that like there's no votes involving you.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good for us. That wouldn't have been good for us. Yeah. Yes, we were one leg away, Lucille, the same as Team Extreme.
I mean, not one led, one place.
That is such. I guess, yeah, never mind. I'm going to refrain from further comments.
You got every leg that you guys finished together, you finished in the top 3, which is an asterisk. There's an asterisk next to it. It sucks that there is. I mean, like I said, for the second time ever in the history of the Amazing Race, a fast forward got canceled because of weather. So it only happened one other time. So if it wasn't for that, it would have been top 3. We'd have broke a record. So whatever. I'm not bitter about that either. We lost an hour and still beat 2 teams. I mean, come on. But anyway, yeah. So what else? Any other twists that you guys expect to see in the season, or any other teams that you would have liked to see for this season?
I really thought like both of y'all were going to be, I'm going to be honest, I thought both of your teams were going to be on like the next returning teaser, like no doubt. So I'm really shocked about that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think Team Extreme was a lock for any kind of redo. I also think we were a lock, but maybe just because being selfish, but or cocky or whatever the hell people call me.
They call you a lot of things, Justin.
I know. Listen, I agree with Crybaby. Cocky. There's a line between the cockiness. Like if Michael Jordan tells you he's the best basketball player, is he cocky or is he confident? Like I don't know. Like.
Jen, imagine this for 21 days straight.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing.
And to be fair, I wasn't like that with all of the teams in front of the teams. Most of the cockiness that people hated was during our interviews with the producers who were asking me questions and wanted honest answers. Like, so I gave them honest answers. Like,
Jen, that's one reality that's being shared. The actualness of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, I like Justin much better knowing you not as Justin the racer.
Oh,
If I
100%.
can.
No, Justin
Like,
in real
I
life is awesome.
understand it more. I understand like the things you say and like what could be perceived as cockiness. Like I get it all, and I think it's just all for fun. And I think some people take that sometimes like too seriously. Like it's serious, but it's like it's for show too. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Listen, I've been on the radio for a long time. I play up a lot of things, and when people ask me things on the radio, I'm always very honest and straightforward. And on the race, it didn't work out to my benefit. But I was a kid in a candy store. I had more fun.
Yeah.
There was nobody on my season that had as much fun as I did. You could go back and watch. I literally danced in every country. I nobody points that out. I actually put together a video I haven't released yet. Of me dancing in every country. I think I'll put it out sometime during this season. I don't know why I never released it, but it's me dancing in every country that we were in.
I had one more thing I forgot to mention earlier.
Yes.
If you look in the bios, why the hell is one of the 22, only one out of the 22 said that the racers didn't have the most advantage, and it was Floyd.
Floyd. What? Come on, Floyd. You
have
know
more faith in racers.
Yeah. I think that's him being humble.
Nice. Yeah, I think he was trying to be nice.
But it's just not true.
Yeah. You 100% have an advantage going in.
And like, I'm not faulting the Survivor to Big Brother. If this was a Survivor recap, I would say all of the Survivor people have, like, because you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we're almost to the end here. So James Earl, you're gonna have your seal clap back. I'm gonna have my super fan move. Did you come up with anything, Jen? If not, I might have something for you.
Okay, so no, but maybe we can brainstorm about this.
Okay, what award are you going to be giving out this season?
But I'm thinking, because we were Team Extreme, it should probably relate to like the extremeness of something that unfolds, whether it's like extremely terrible or great or surprising or whatever. So I'm going to roll with that, but I don't know what it's called because X Factor popped into my mind and I was like, I absolutely cannot call it X Factor. So open for names and opinions.
I think the extreme move of the race, whether it's the actual Team Extreme. I mean, you guys, who made the extreme move? Whether
it could be, like you said, it'd be the extremely bad.
Right. Exactly.
No harm, so we're not calling it who dat.
Thank you for that, though.
The most invisible team.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't fit.
Doesn't happen as much on. Oh yeah, I'm not invisible. Thanks.
No, no, man.
I think everything fits.
Y'all were the stars of that season. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're kind.
I mean, like James Earl got to seal clap throughout his season of The Amazing Race. I was the super fan of my season of The Amazing Race, even though James Earl hid his super fanness.
Right.
Here's the thing: put me on Survivor. Like, I feel like these recaps ruined it because now people will know. But like, if I had just gone on Survivor, no one would have known.
And yeah, I think when they do the Amazing Race, they do this reality showdown on Survivor. I would love to be on it, but I think you would be a lot better at it than I would.
Oh, I would destroy. How many times did I lie to you on the season, Justin, and you still helped me out?
Right. I liked you. I didn't want you in the finals for selfish reasons, but then once I started to hang out with you, I wanted to see you in the finals. So.
And I lied to your face so many times.
You did. You're a liar, but I was the bad guy on my season. I never lied once, but somehow I was the jerk. Never lied once.
I do it with a nice little smile and just like twirl my hair.
All right, it is 1 hour till Game of Thrones. Is there anything else that we have for our season, the kickoff, the cast assessment before we head on out of here?
I'm just excited. I think it's overall going to be a really, really good season and super entertaining. So I'm ready for it to be Wednesday. I'm also stoked on Game of Thrones tonight. But
100%.
Love the time slot. Super
Yeah.
excited that it's back on a time slot that it should be. I love the fact that there's going to be new eyeballs on it from survivors and Big Brothers. I love the fact that it's going to be a lot more social interaction on social media because of that. Super excited that this could be the revival of the Amazing Race. I know a lot of people don't like returners, and all of those people usually like feel like they took my spot when they never even sent in an audition tape. It's like, so no, they didn't take anybody's spot. If you were interesting enough and you sent your tape in, they're not like, oh, you don't fit. We're not going to have you on. Like if you were going to be on.
Mom and I are like the ideal for this. Mom and I literally one day like finally decided to do it. Put up a video, made a 3-minute one-shot video, submitted it, and the rest is history. Yeah. So like it can be done. If you're thinking about it, just do it.
Do it. Send it in. It may be a long time before you actually see it on TV, probably 2021-ish, but send it in because I think the ratings are going to be huge for this season. I think they moved it up so it has a chance at the Emmy again. I think this is going to breathe new life into it, and I'm super excited. And I'm glad that a couple of my friends are actually on this season, both from Survivor and Amazing Race, and a couple Big Brothers that I know. So I'm really excited to see how they fare. A lot of junk is talked at conventions about which show is harder and how other people would do. And if you watch Big Brother or Survivor, as soon as those seasons are over, people are already talking about getting teams together, the fans, and putting them on the Amazing Race. So we'll see if this season does well. We'll see more like it, but I don't know. I love each and every one of you that are here watching. Thank you so much for sticking around and spreading the word and being a part of our family. It really means a lot that I get to continue to be a super fan and actually have a platform that people want to watch. James Earl, Jen, I really appreciate you guys being a part of the team. This show would be terrible without a balance of you guys. So I appreciate you and looking forward to a great season. All right. Everybody in the chat room, I didn't get to all of you. I do apologize. It's normally Diana's thing. Again, go to Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Use the hashtag Racist Recap throughout the whole week. I'll be live tweeting Game of Thrones tonight. If you guys want to get on that, you're well. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Bye.